All right, welcome to video number 38. This is all going to be about subscripts. So here's a summary at the beginning for you again. I want you to be able to define and describe a subscript. I want you to be able to explain why it's incorrect to write these two that I have here. Identify how many atoms of each element are in the compound vitamin C, which is chemical formula RC6H8O6. All right, so let's get started. So what is the subscript? Well, first of all, it's the number found to the right and below an element, and I've got it labeled for you here. So N2, where the 2 is the subscript here. Subscripts, what they actually do is they describe how many of each element are formed in a compound. And they are all part of a compound's chemical formula. So what I'm showing you down here is you've actually got 3 subscripts. You've got the 2 for sodium, you've got the 4 for oxygen, and believe it or not, you have a 1, even though it looks invisible to you, there for the sulfur, and I'll get into that. So chemists don't write 1, we're like way too cool for that. If there's no number next to an element, there is 1 of it. So we don't write 1s. Now, what if you were to ask me, so Mrs. Burke, why isn't it 0? Well, if it was 0, we wouldn't take the time to actually write the element symbol. So an example I have for you down here is NaCl, so this is table salt, and I'm showing you it has 1 atom of sodium and 1 atom of chlorine. And again, we don't write 1s because we're too cool for that, and that way you only see the letters here. Okay, I want you to make yourself a little T-chart here, and I need to go math versus chemistry here for you for a minute. So when we are talking about subscripts, a lot of my students in the past have confused them for superscripts. You would also know this as a word of exponents. These are 2 completely different things. So let's go back to our subscript here, since my submarine, get it? Go below subscript. Okay, so subscript goes below, okay, it would never be written on the same line. It tells the number of atoms, and for example, I've got Cl2 here, which is chlorine gas, very deadly, and what it's showing you is you actually have 2 atoms of chlorine. Now, if you are in math, this is going to be completely different. You're going to be talking about maybe superscripts or exponents. It goes above the number, okay? And it's a math term, so you wouldn't see it next to a symbol. So 4 to the 3rd power or 4 to the 3rd exponent is 4 times 4 times 4, which my calculations are awesome, is 64. So make sure you understand the big difference between these 2 things. If you were to write your subscript up like a superscript, that would be absolutely wrong. So what's the big hoo-ha about subscripts? Well, if you change a subscript, you're actually going to change the substance. So you've changed the formula or the recipe. So you could be drinking, water like I have here. Or let's say, let's just add another oxygen to it. Well, all of a sudden you're drinking hydrogen peroxide and you're going to barf your guts out. That's disgusting. So subscripts have a big deal to do with chemistry. Let's look at that N2 again. So you've got 2 atoms of nitrogen. This is actually how nitrogen gas likes to appear. Let me read you the bottom one as well. So we've got H2SO4, which is this is sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid will melt your face off, also very dangerous. And you would read this across to me, you would say to me, it's got 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of sulfur, and 4 atoms of oxygen. And remember, we're too cool like that to write 1 for the sulfur, so we just let it be invisible. Okay, now it's your turn to try. How many atoms of each element are in the 2 compounds below? And the ones that whoopsie. Haha, look at that. I wrote that badly. Did you catch that? Hold on. All right, so did you catch this 3? Did you see that mistake that I had made? So let me actually show you how to fix it. So if you highlight it and control and click or double click, depending on what you're using, go down to font, and then it's going to give you this big table. Pick subscript, and it'll actually put it back where it needs to go. So, all right, now that we're back in business. So, how many atoms of CaCO3, which is calcium carbonate, which is limestone, or NaOH, which is sodium hydroxide, which is lye. So, these 2 things, how many atoms are there? All right, hope you did. Is it 2 thumbs up time? So hopefully you got, in the first one, you've got 1 atom of calcium, and you don't have to write calcium out, you can just write Ca, that's totally cool with me. 1 atom of C or carbon, and 3 atoms of O or oxygen. Now, did you get fooled by the ones on the bottom? Remember, the ones are invisible because we're too cool for that. So you have 1 atom of sodium, 1 of oxygen, and 1 of hydrogen. Okay, we're back at summary time, so remember we're defining and describing a subscript. Explain why it's incorrect to write these the way I have them, And make sure you identify how many atoms of each element are in the compound vitamin C, and I've actually given you its chemical formula here. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in class.